Hello, you beautiful people. Skippy The Loremaster here. Welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to be telling you why Zac Brown Band's latest album, The Comeback, is an absolute masterpiece. Now, I am the biggest Zac Brown Band fan. I've always been, and I've always loved their music. They've always been my favorite group by far of any group ever. And I love all music, as long as it's good music. But their music has always connected with me on a much deeper level. Whether that's everything from their love stories that they tell through their lyrics, or their stories of letting things go. All of their songs, for the most part, have really good meanings behind them. And if they don't necessarily have good meanings that you can, take from their songs, they're just good old fun. They sound good. It's not just the lyrics that are on point always. It's their tunes, it's the groove, it's everything. And well, this album, they have struck gold. Okay, this album is a blend of all of that success, all of that prior success that they've had, where they stuck to their roots and kind of gone off a little bit less of the experimentation that they've been doing lately, and going back more so to their country roots, and going back more so to their, the things that make them strong, keep them strong, right? And what they're known for ever since the foundation with the first album that they came out with. And this album is properly named The Comeback, because it's not only a comeback for, well, the Zac Brown Band in so many different ways, both in form for their type style of music, but also you could argue even financially speaking for the group, because they've gone through lots of struggle with during COVID and things like that. But it's also a comeback for everyone, for America in general. And it's an American album at heart. And it talks about everything from, kind of healing the political divide, but it doesn't get into politics, which is something I love about it. But it also stresses human connection above everything else, whether that's human connection with being together during these trying times, or that's human connection through realizing that we all have problems that we go through on a daily basis, such as in the song Same Boat, which was one of the top hits of the album. And we all go through the same, not the same problems exactly, but we all, put our pants on one leg at a time, right? And we all go through struggles. So that could be a reason that we could come together. And everything from that to good old classic Zac Brown, band love stories, to, sad stories, ballads, and an amalgamation of all those different types, and a little bit of tropical music too that they're known for, and kind of leaving behind the experimentation that was done with the previous album, The Owl, which I love The Owl, but it didn't, for a lot of fans, they didn't like the experimentation. But them going back to their roots has really paid off with this album, because on this album they've worked with collaborators that they've worked with before that has brought them prior success: Ben Simonetti, Wyatt Durrett, Levi Lowry, and obviously all the band members that have, brought them previous success, whether that's through producing or writing or any of those. And they've brought on a whole new group of collaborators that are all world famous and the best at their craft. Some of my favorites being Marcus King, who is a young buck that he's like my new favorite, like young new artist out. And in my opinion, he's one of the best modern day, not saying of all time, but modern day guitarists. He's insanely good. Okay, go check him out. Marcus King, really good. Working on a feature with Marcus King, working on a feature with Gregory Porter, working on like the lyrics and the writing with Luke Combs, right? Jonathan Singleton, Ben Hayslip, Ray Falker, Neil Mason, all of these, Luke Dick, all of these great writers and great musicians that have been known over many, many years for performing and writing things that are really special, truly, truly special. And I may be missing a couple people, obviously. So many people actually that have worked on this album all together over the past year or so. to bring together really truly an art form, right? And once again, it's that collection of old artists that brought them great success in the past and new ones, along with a partnership that they made with Warner Music Nashville, which is one of the biggest labels that they've signed with so far. And Zach has said that they feel as if they've truly found a home with this album, with this label, I should say. And this album was made over the longest time period that they've basically been allowed to make an album since their first one. Because, during COVID, they've allowed to kind of creatively meld, as they've said. And they were able to bring out the big guns. And many members of the band, including Zach himself, Clay, Coy, Jimmy, all the other ones, most of them have said in some form or fashion that this is the best album that they believe they've ever made, like ever. And I would argue that this album is probably either their second or their third best ever. Okay. And some of my favorites, it's so hard for me to say which one's my favorite. I just cannot. Okay. Some of my favorites are, Us Against the World, Wild Palomino, Any Day Now, Same Boat, Paradise Lost on Me, Stubborn Pride, Old Love Song. They're all really great songs. And once again, they all stress on the human connection, right? Old Love Song, for instance, just as an example, is a song written by Jonathan Singleton, one of the best writers in the game, Luke Combs, Zach, and Ben Simonetti. And the song basically is a collection of all of these different old love songs from, different famous artists like Marvin Gaye and Bill Withers and many, many more. And it's basically a collection of these songs, and it's put into one song. And it's like, and they say, love me like an old love song. Sorry, I have no tune in me. That's why I trust these guys to do it. And it's really ingenious, honestly, because it just melts together all these different, songs that people used to, fall in love with all the way back when. And many more, like Stubborn Pride, which is a beautiful ballad with Marcus King and Zach Brown about, just that stubborn pride that sometimes us men, we can have when we're in relationships. And then Any Day Now, kind of, you left my heart out in the rain to rust, kind of a sad, like almost any day now, like I might come back. And then Paradise Lost on Me is probably one of the happiest, saddest songs I think I've ever heard in my life. It has a really upbeat kind of a tune, like a tropical kind of a tune, but it's really sad. Like the lyrics, if you listen to it, and it's like, it's just paradise lost on me. Dun, dun, dun. Like whenever you're not there, it's just sand on sunburned skin. It's a frozen margarita turning to water again. It's lonely set of footprints on a snow white beach. Without you, it's just paradise lost on me. So it's like, it's a sad song, but has a happy upbeat to it. And many more, I can't even, like Closer to Heaven is just like, I built an empire on a beach of shifting sand, and then it just crumbled down. But then when you came into my life, I just felt as if I was close to heaven. And so many more. And all of these songs have like so many layers to them. And The Comeback, the song named after the album, it makes you think about the past year so much. Like it talks about, how we should all break the chains of indifference and serve one another. Going through, this massive upheaval that we've had in our country lately, and disagreement, constant fighting. It really brings us back. And it talks about, the frontline responders, and the people who are my heroes. They are my heroes, saving the day. And, it's I love it. I love it in every single way possible. From the previous collaborators that we haven't worked on with for a long time, and our new ones. And once again, it's about bridging the gap between people, whether it's bridging the gap just through friendship, right? And just through trying to realize that we, have similarities and that could bring us together, or through actual genuine love, right? Through love, which is a powerful emotion. And I relate very much to the album lately, because I've honestly, within the past, I'm gonna tell y'all, within the past like year or two, I've like fallen in love. Like I feel like I've gotten closer to heaven with a particular girl. Um, and yeah, and it kind of hit home with me too, in so many different ways. And yeah, I love it. I love it. It's truly a comeback for the band, critically speaking, because the album wasn't necessarily the greatest reviewed by a lot of people. Even though I loved it, it wasn't really reviewed the greatest per se, but I loved it. And you know, a lot of people in the previous community didn't. It's almost like when like Taylor Swift switched from like country to like pop, because that's what they kind of did. How a lot of her country fans from before didn't really like the new pop. It's almost like that same kind of a gist. And you know, on the album cover, you see that his face is like covered with clay. That's the exact same thing that the foundation had. It was a picture of Zach with like clay. It's Georgia Clay, GA Clay, which is another song, you know, on the GA Clay, when I was born and raised. And it's another thing. It goes back to your roots, you know, going back to who you are, you know, and who the people that you love are, and never forgetting about home, no matter which road you take. You know, you always wind up to the GA Clay, you know, or for me, it's the New Orleans swamps. But you get my point. And yeah, it's a brilliant masterpiece that has struck gold in so many different ways. And also, it's really helped Zach and the band, because they've been going through a lot lately. They were about to sell Southern Ground Studios, which was their studio, and they were financially not really doing too good. They had to let off a lot of people. And you know, I'm glad that this is really helping them, because they deserve it. This band has brought so much happiness to me and to so many millions of people throughout the United States, and probably even throughout the world. You know, through their big songs, Chicken Fried, Toes, Colder Weather. It's got me through many nights, like my video games and like my history. And like my many things that I'm very passionate about, Zac Brown Band is definitely one of them. And this album has reassured that in me through stressing human connection, stressing love, and stressing, you know, looking back at your roots, just like the Zac Brown Band have done with this album. Now, that'll be all for today. Thank you, everyone. Shout out to Zach and the whole band. Love you all, guys. And y'all are some terrific artists, tremendous artists. I respect you the most, because I know I can't do that. I can't bring a tune to save my life. I can't do a tune to save my life. But anyway, please subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Click on the notification bell to stay up to date on all my most recent content. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay healthy. And y'all stay happy. And y'all have a great one, okay? Bye-bye.